بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا، وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا، إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. أسأل الله تبارك وتعالى أن يجعل نياتنا خالصة لوجهه الكريم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala, I wanted to take a few moments to come on and have my reflections on last night's Black Imams Roundtable, which I think was very beneficial. And I had some takeaways that I wanted to share with you all. And I think it's important for me to really have a real talk with us about some issues and concerns that the more and more I engage in a da'wah, in educating us and learning, I'm discovering some serious issues that many of us have that I believe are going to hinder the progress of our people collectively in Islam. And I'm trying to think of the best ways to say what I want to say with offending the least amount of people possible, which sometimes is almost impossible. But I'm going to give it a try. I always feel when I want to talk that, we got to play politics. And I hate politics. I'm just not good at it at all. Never been. I don't like politics, right? And our religious discourse has become politics in many cases. I'm just totally not a fan of it. And because of that, sometimes I speak in a way that people who are playing politics will get offended. So keep in mind, Amin Muhammad is not a politician. I'm not good at playing politics. Don't even want to play politics. I'd rather be straightforward. That's just my nature. I don't say what you say, mean what you mean, and I can live with it. I'll give you an example of that. We were in a hospital. I just had my twin daughters. May Allah reward them. May Allah protect them and raise them in the status of piety under the banner of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But kids, babies, sometimes they can get sick. They get, stuff happens, right? So they both had colds, and I'm in the hospital, and the doctors are so used to talking to people and protecting their feelings that they make everything seem like somebody gonna die. Well, um, we don't want to panic right now, but so they're giving this long spiel. So I stopped the doctor in midstream. I say, Doc, you don't gotta do that with me. Just tell me what you're saying. Whatever it is, I'm a Muslim. I believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever Allah wills, I accept. So the long drawn out speech of let me prepare you. You don't need to prepare me. I was prepared when I said La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for any calamity. That's me. And if my wife is not like that, I'll help her get there. But we not doing the long drawn out speech stuff about whatever Allah will to be you and like you can fix it. No, do your best, and that's all I ask from you, right? And he looked at me, and the nurses around looked at me like, this guy's crazy. But they respected that. And besides that, after that, we had straight talk. It was so easy. And when they came through, a little cold, but it's babies, so they like then newborn infants. That cold can be kind of rough for them. But when they got through it, the nurse who was taking care of them said, man, you made us feel like these were our babies. And she was so happy. But what she was happy about was that she didn't have to go through all that. Whatever she was struggling with, whatever she was concerned about, she could just talk to me. And it was cool. I wasn't going to flip out. I wasn't going to be, but tell me the truth. I'm saying that that's our nature in the deen. We have a saying that the Prophet ﷺ taught us, Ma Allahu kan, wa ma lam yasha lam yakun. Whatever Allah willed to be shall be, and whatever Allah didn't will to be shall not be. Khalas. That's it. It's finished. Now we work and we act accordingly and we do our means and everything. But the way it's going to turn out is the way Allah willed it to turn out. And ain't nothing changing that. Right? So when we're having dialogue about the deen, and even when we differ, listen, this is something decreed by Allah. So don't be afraid to differ. Don't be afraid to disagree. Don't be afraid to speak the truth because what might happen. Of course, I'm not saying just say any old thing, but could you please just say it? Are y'all following me on that point? Just say it. I don't need you to dress it all up. Just say it. So I'm going to just say it after dressing it all up. We black, most of us on this platform. That doesn't exclude anybody. And since my main people that I talk to on a regular basis, they are African Americans. They're Black. If we took a poll right now of all the people listening, the vast majority of them will be African Americans. That's a fact, right? I could just look at the names and watch and see. Most of these are African American. That's true. So when we talk, it's going to be mostly in that context. And when you're speaking to a certain people, you have to know their language, their culture, their background, their understanding, right? You're talking to somebody. So you should talk to them accordingly. And I don't need to do that to talk in somebody else's voice to make them comfortable. Let me say that again. And I and we don't need to talk in someone else's voice, in someone else's context to make them comfortable so that we can speak to each other. I think that's a mistake. I think this is a serious mistake. Nor do we need to put on airs for somebody else who are not dealing with our reality. This is a major problem, especially in the African American Muslim community. We have this issue. We need to fix it. I enjoyed the roundtable last night. I really enjoyed myself. And I was extremely happy. But this was one thing I was extremely disappointed about. That we still can have our discussions, solve our problems without permission to be ourselves. That's disheartening. It's very disheartening. And I would like us to make an environment where we don't have to do that. Please give me 1 second. So inshallah, excuse me. Uh, so I want us to make an environment that we can be ourselves. And we have to force that environment. It's not something that we can seek permission to do. We have to force an environment where we could be ourselves. Right? And it's essential so that we can have real conversations, right? Uh, about real issues. So the issue we was talking about, I said something when I was talking to my brother, whom I love, right? Uh, was my brother Sheikh Noor. And I say Sheikh, and I mean it because I aspire that for all of our brothers, right? Like, no, we need to become our shuyukh, period. So I push that. But no, he's been overseas for a minimum of at least 8 years. 8 years. And it's the habit of us, no matter how long we study, no matter how much we always come back and we're still not able to do our jobs. That bothers me. Because when we leave to do the job. We leave like I'm going overseas, I'm going to learn, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to straighten and help and teach my people. That's how we all talk, every single one of us. And then we get overseas, we get wrapped up in someone else's culture. We do acquire the deen, and then we lose ourselves. This happens to us. Us. I'm not talking about him. Us. And he's included in us. And what happens is we're no longer able to articulate to our people the deen as we learn it, who desperately need it. It's very, and I'm older, so I see it a little bit different. We've been doing this for 40, 50 years, man. The same stuff. When are we as a people going to take this banner and carry it? And I said something, someone asked me about it. I said, like, I don't want to hear from your sheikh. I want to hear from you. That was in no way to disrespect the sheikh, but it was for us to stop belittling ourselves and using the sheikhs as an excuse why we don't do our job. Do you follow my point? Because I'm trying my best to politically say how I really feel, which is difficult for me. So make sure you're following me. I don't want to get lost. Are y'all following me? Is my point clear? If not, I can reword it another way. Good. At least somebody understands. Wafia, everybody can't handle this tongue. Right. There was a man in the past, he had his own madhab. It wasn't his madhab, but they had a madhab called al-Dhahiriyya. His name was Ibn Hazm. They used to say about him, he was Shadidul Lisan. He was very sharp with his tongue. I have that nature, so I gotta watch my mouth. Right? I gotta watch my mouth. I know me, right? But at the same time, we gotta say it, right? Uh, so now I'm gonna go to my other point. That we got that out the way, because that was the thing that disappointed me about the whole conversation. We couldn't really have our conversation because we got to be sunned in our minds. That ain't cool, right? Right. You know what I mean by sunned. Put yourself down. No, put yourself up. Pick yourself up. You are a man. Stand up. Right. Because we learned. We learned. We know the points we're talking about. Talk about them. We know them. Say them. We spent hours and years, memorizing. We know what we're talking about. But if we say it in the way that most of us learn it, most of our people are not going to be able to follow. You gotta translate that. And I don't mean just from Arabic to English. I mean Arabic to English to our reality. That's translation. Not just Arabic to English. Arabic to English to our reality. That's a translation. And that's what we have to do. Now, the point after that. Why do we insist? And it's not we, because we didn't make it up. None of us. We are inheriting something. Every single one of us. Right? So we say Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah are Al Asha'ira wal Maturidiyya. That's what we say. Can everyone put that up? Because I don't want no one to reword my words, please. So we want to put it up. Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah are the Asharis and the Maturidis. Can everyone put that up? Please. Even if you don't believe it, just put it up so my words don't get mixed. Even if you don't believe it. Just say this what, and you just put Amin Muhammad says. Hold on one second. I'm sorry, you can copy Samira with the ijaza from Imam Naim if you can't spell it. This is our position, and it's not going to change. This is what we learned with an unbroken chain of narration from our teachers to their teachers, to their teachers, to their teachers, to their teachers, back to the great Imams of Sunni Islam, to the Imam al-Ash'ari, Imam Maturidi themselves. That's what we learned. Within that, as I mentioned last night, is anyone who agrees with their foundational beliefs, even if they don't say I'm Ash'ari or Maturidi. Is this point clear? So anyone who has the same foundational creed as them, even if they don't say the word Ash'ari or Maturidi, they are included. Is this point clear? So, no matter what the person calls himself, if he has the same creed as Al-Ash'ira and Maturidiyya in the foundations of the creed, highlight the word foundations of the creed, right? He's counted among them. When they say Ash'ari and Maturidi, they're talking about him too, even if he doesn't call himself an Ash'ari or Maturidi. All right. So that is not just a specific, because a person may disagree with the Ash'ira in some branches or the Maturidis in some branches of the creed, but the foundations, he has the same belief. Sorry, I'm managing two things. Just be patient with me. Okay. So, uh, in the foundations of the creed, if we agree, you're counting among the Ash'ira and the Maturidi. Right, Muawiyah? Muawiyah got the secret. I'm Mr. Mom now. Imam Mr. Mom, right? MashaAllah. So now let's deal with this Hanabila thing. And I'm doing this because it's going to take time. Because y'all know, as I say all the time, we we don't do microwave Islam, right? So it's going to take time, and you got to be patient. You have to be patient because we're not going to do it overnight. I mean, why I don't say Ahl Sunnah, and forget me, please, before we go ahead. This ain't about us. None of us that important. Can we all put, we are transmitters, not originators of Islam? This is very important to understand. Can we put it? Just, I want you to engage with me. We are transmitters of Islam, not originators. We ain't make nothing up. We're transmitting a tradition that has reached us. We didn't make it up. So it's not me, it's not him. There is somewhere where we got it from. All of us. Because sometimes we get wrapped up in our own egos and like, it's my stuff. You ain't made up nothing. You got that from him. Every single one of us. right? So we ain't making this stuff up. So it ain't never personal, right? If you learned Islam properly, you know you're a transmitter. That's why we have chains of narration. You didn't make anything up. You got it from somewhere. So knock it off with the me. It ain't about you, right? With that being said, why didn't our scholars, whom we receive the knowledge of the creed, didn't say Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah are the Ash'aris, the Maturidis, and the Hanabila? Why didn't they say that? The reason is because the Hanbali school itself had a big issue with anthropomorphists inside their school. What are anthropomorphists? There are people who attribute to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala non-befitting attributes which resemble attributes of the creation, right? The Hanbali school specifically had a big problem with this. And since that became such a big problem, the other scholars didn't take to that. And because it was so abundant, they kind of moved away from the Hanbali school. That's the reason. As we learned it. Somebody says politics. Okay, that's not what we learned. I'm telling you what we learned, right? And why we don't say it. And that was in the early time after Imam Ahmed. Even his son was afflicted with some of these ideas. It's in the books. No problem, we can show, but that's another level. We just want to understand the why. And it came to a point whenever you say mushabbih or mujassim, it also became synonymous with Hanbali. Do y'all follow that? It had reached a point to whenever you said mushabbih or mujassim, someone who likens Allah to his creation, or someone has bodies, it became synonymous, unrightfully, with the Hanbali school. That doesn't mean other people didn't have the problem. It just was abundant in the Hanbali school. Are everybody following the reasons why we learn that's why they say Ash'ari and Maturidi? Is everyone clear with that? Just get the point. It's not time for debate yet. Just understand what we're saying. As long as you understand, then we can go to the next level. Is that clear? Let me give you today. The same thing is happening today. All right, we ain't lived back in the 4th century, 5th century Hijra. We live in the 15th century Hijra. Today, if you say Hanbali, you're going to be mixed between the Wahhabis, who changed their name to Salafi, who changed their name to Athari, who changed their name to Hanbali. Listen, it's too much confusion, bro. Right? And why are we going to subject a people who've been confused about Islam for so long to the ideas of possibly falling into anthropomorphism and all of that when none of that exists right here? Why? I mean, what's the benefit? That's our position. I'm not speaking about nobody else. Talking us. You want me to be a Hembali and all, or say Hembali, even if you don't want me to be one. And then behind Hembali are anthropomorphists and Mujessima, those who liken Allah, give Allah bodily attributes. And they're hiding under that name. Would that be wise? Right? That's not wise, in my opinion. So I'm not talking about nobody else. I'm talking about how I see it. Especially in our community, they are the biggest Islamic fitna that we have. I don't see the wisdom. When the point you're making at the end of the day is found in the Ash'ari and the Maturidi madhab. I don't get it. That I'm speaking straight up. I'm not trying to be academic. I'm not trying to be all scholarly. I can do that. Trust me, with ease. That ain't what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make us understand the point, right? One second. I'll tell you a story quickly after this. Remind me to tell you a baby story with one of my teachers. Don't let me forget. I'm going to stop in a minute because my kids are waking up. So I'm trying to think of my point. I lost my thought. Remind me where I left off, please. Anyway, our biggest problem today in our communities, now I'm taking context, is Wahhabism with its various names. So even honestly, when we hear Hanbali, though I know for sure there are Hanabila who don't believe in anthropomorphism, but I also realize that many of those Wahhabi people are now using the name of Hanbali to hide their Wahhabism. I know that too. So that's the thing we're dealing with, right? Right now, every day. And we had a person who's a graduate or studied in the University of Medina. Let me not say he was a graduate, but I believe he's a graduate, right? He said to us on this platform that Wahhabi, Salafi, Hanbali, Athari, all the same. Right? That's what he said. And you can go to the round table and you will see it. He said Wahhabi, Athari, Salafi, Hanbali is all the same. That's what he said. He's a graduate from the University of Medina. So for me, that's problematic. Right? That's problematic because if I'm telling our people we're trying to, now you just confuse them again. Right? So that's why we don't do it. That's us. I'm not speaking about nobody else. I'm not speaking about somebody overseas. I'm not talking about the sheikh who's in Saudi Arabia, who's can't talk because they're gonna put him in jail. I ain't talking about him. I'm not him. That's his situation, right? We have our own situation. We're not in that situation. We had it, we got our circumstances, and we have to deal with our reality. Is this plain and clear as possible? The easiest, simplest way I think I can do it? Do y'all get my point? I'm gonna have to come back and do this again. If Allah gives me tawfiq, I'll come back tonight when I got more time and freedom and I can be in my normal spot, right? Uh, but because it's going to take time. And I'm going to do this to the next roundtable because we're going to do, inshallah, something that I believe we need to do, but we've been reluctant to do it because we had the same problem as Sheikh Noor. That's why I said he ain't the only one. Sometimes we know what to do, but because it wasn't the way we learned, we don't do it, right? Because some foreigners are over our backs too, and we feel indebted sometimes to their methodology that may not be the best for us in terms of conveying. I know you can give the class later. You're not ready yet. There's a lot of haters out there. If they see your face, they might put the whammy on you. No, that's what you say. You gotta wait till you get big and you can protect yourself. Ah, just having fun. Don't. No one would do that, right? Um. Uh. Um. So uh, that aspect, and you know what we need to do? You can't get all the way up. You gotta stay right here. Just lay down, right here. All right, my man. This is Sayyidi Alawi. May Allah make him among the awliya. Say Amin. Right. Um. What we need to do for us, we need to explain all this stuff in a series of lessons. Even the stuff we disagree with, we need to explain it, make it clear, lay it out so that we understand what we're talking about when we have a conversation. But a lot of times we don't want to do it because we have this idea of you better not say Methalan as an example, Ibn Taymiyyah. Don't talk about Ibn Taymiyyah. Well, Ibn Taymiyyah is significant if we're going to understand this subject. If you're going to understand what we're talking about and you don't know nothing about Ibn Taymiyyah and you don't know it in an unbiased way, you're not going to understand the conversation. Right? You're not. If you don't understand history, you're not going to understand the conversation. It's going to be a bunch of mumbo jumbo to you if you don't understand Islamic history, if you don't understand scholarship, if you don't, all that stuff has to be explained. The good, the bad, everything in between. To understand, we have failed to do that and we should fix that issue. So we're going to do it. So with that being said, so we're going to do it, inshallah. And so next Tuesday, we're going to talk about the Hanbali that Sheikh Noor is talking about. We're going to talk about that. We're going to show its books. We're going to talk about its scholars. We're going to talk about it. So we already agreed to that. Sheikh Noor may not be there. We hope he comes. But if not, Sheikh Nasser and myself, we're going to discuss it. We all have the stuff, so it's not hard, very easy. So we're going to do that next week. So next Tuesday, the roundtable is going to be about the Hanabila, the true Hanabila. And we're going to mention the difference between the Hanabila and the Wahhabiyya as we understand it from their books and from their teachers. And then if they want to correct us, they can do it later. We gave them the opportunity. They said no. So we do it, right? Okay. So with that, I'm gonna pause here, and I want to. I'll tell the baby story. So one time, one of my teachers in Beirut, he was coming to class, and he had just had a baby, his first baby. And in the Arab world, that's a big thing, right? Uh, so the day he was having his baby, he was giving me a lesson and two other people. It's like a private lesson. So we were like, Sheikh, we can do this another time. Your wife's in the hospital having a baby, right? He said, she will be okay. When we finish the class, I will go to the hospital. It was shocking to us, right? Like, man, this is your first baby. Go to the hospital. We can pick up this later. He was like, no, the knowledge has a priority. And when they called, his wife said, she's in labor. She's like, stay with the brothers. They have a right. When you finish the class, come. That was his wife. That's what she said. First child born. After having the kids, he had one baby, then he had another, right? So he would come to the masjid and be giving class and not going home. And everyone was feeling merciful with the sheikh. You know, he's like, yo, sheikh, uh, go home to your family. And he'd be like, y'all all my family. I need time with you to teach you the religion. And those type of teachers produce what we produce. So somebody say, well, why don't he go take care of his kids? Because I can do my kids and you at the same time, inshallah. You can benefit, right? I got that from my teachers. That's how they were. Despite they had family responsibilities, they never left us out, right? They never left us out. They never left us out. And likewise, they taught us. Even one of our sheikhs in Damascus, his son had died. And at the janazah, you know, he went and prayed and came back and taught class right after the janazah. And when they asked the sheikh, like, is janazah family? He said, the class doesn't stop. They were like that, you know? So we try to have some of that, even though we are a poor example of it. So even through the interruption, we still benefit, inshallah ta'ala. 1 second. Um, yeah, so that's not something we came up with. That is what we learned and saw from our teachers. That's how they were. They were that way with us. So we try our best to be that way. Relax. Chill, 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 chill. Um, we try to be the same way to the best of our ability, right? So please pardon the interruptions. But that's why I said I'll do it later on tonight. But these things I want to get on my mind. I've been thinking about them all night while I was up all night. Like I'm thinking about them. Because seriously, we have a lot of work to do. We can't afford to take rest. Seriously, we can't. We like 30, 40 years behind. We have so much work to do. As Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, we have a mountain of work to do. Seriously, we have so much work to do. And we can't keep making excuses. I'm busy, my family, the dog ate my homework. Like that stuff ain't flying. We got to get to work. We have too much work to do. And ain't nobody doing it for us. If we don't do it, that's it. So yeah, we'll do it. Let me take a few quick questions, and I actually have to go because dude is like, yo, man, all right, enough of this. Breakfast time. So I'll take put your questions. If I miss your question, just put it back. Some questions I ignored because I know who you are and you ain't getting ready to derail the program. So you can put your question back. If I ignored your question and you put it back and I ignore it again, you know you the one I'm talking about. Go ahead, Tawheed. Is your question. How long did it take you to reach this point of thinking? Um, what um what point? What do you mean? In terms of our people, oh, that's a long story that I can't tell. But I'll tell you the hint. I saw one of our African American sheikhs get treated so bad by others, it made me angry. And I was there when it happened. And I was highly offended. And it sparked, like, it was a wake up call for me. But I can't tell that story. Come here, Aloe. Come here. Yeah, I can't tell that story. But it was something that happened that really triggered me. And I've never been the same since. It was the it was too much. But I can't tell the story because these people are still alive and it's not beneficial. But that's what happened. And it woke me up and I've never been the same since. It knocked me right out of my Blackistani. That's a joke my wife has with Blackistani. When we not ourselves. All right, I'm marking some of these questions real quick, and I'll just go down the list. I've seen a lot. I've been around. I've been in the show, so I've seen a lot of stuff. And when I say the show, the popular, you know, Muslim circuit, I've been in it. I know what it. I know. I got the picture. The writings on the wall, and I can read. Right. So it changed me. Honestly, it did. and I still love our sheikhs and teachers in the environment, but I saw some stuff that I did that I knew is not healthy for us as a community. Okay. All right, let me take, so I answered that. So what school of thought should take from its all fiqh? No, we're not talking about fiqh at all. We're talking about Aqidah. So when you think Hanbali, we're not talking about Hanbali fiqh. We're talking about Aqidah. That's it. We're not talking about anything else in the subjects we're talking about. And so we're not talking about fiqh. Don't mix Hanbali fiqh and Hanbali Aqidah up. It's not necessarily, we're not even talking about the same stuff. Not at all. It's not, the discussion has nothing to do with fiqh at all. It has nothing to do with the conversation. Right? So we're not talking about fiqh. Okay, yeah, that's the same question. So Hanbali Aqidah is at its root, from what I know and what I see in their books, is accepting the verses in the hadiths. I'm talking about when we're talking about the attributes of Allah specifically, right? There's more details too, but we ain't talking about that, right? As they have come in the text and leaving the true meaning to Allah. That's Hanbali fiqh. Without making figurative Hanbali Aqidah, without making figurative interpretation, in a nutshell, right? That's it, right? So that's the issue that we're talking about. As for fiqh, we're not even having that discussion. There's nothing to do. There's no issue with Hanbali fiqh. The issue, with that point, that's fine. But what's being conveyed all the time is not that. And now, for instance, you got Wahhabis that are Hanbali and fiqh traditionally. The Wahhabis are Hanbali. The Wahhabis traditionally are Hanbali. But their creed doesn't represent that Hanbali creed that Sheikh Nur is talking about. Is that point clear for everyone? I'm just talking about so you understand the point. The details we can talk about. Do you got that? The Hanbali creed that Sheikh Nur is talking about, he's not talking about the Wahhabi creed or the Salafi creed. Even though they consider themselves the Wahhabis, I'm talking about the Wahhabi people as Hanbalis. Do y'all understand that? The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and its scholars are Hanbali traditionally, but they have a Wahhabi creed. So we're not talking about their fiqh. We're talking about their creed, Aqidah. Do y'all understand that? Is this clear? I'm talking about what we're talking about. Okay. All right. Okay. No one you would know. The sheikh I'm talking about, you wouldn't know him. You wouldn't know him at all. He's not famous. He was one of my teachers. He's not famous at all. And I don't think he want me to put his name out in the public sphere like that. The story is the important, not the person, who it was. Okay. When you say people, all right, y'all got to follow me this. Okay, come here. Come here, just relax. Chill out. It's coming. Bam, 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 bam. Okay. When you say people claim a madhab and hide behind Wahhabism, no, that's not what I said. What I said, people say they are Hanbali in Aqidah, but really they are Wahhabi. All right, you got that, Jilani? Don't mix it up. People say they are Hanbali in creed, but really they are Wahhabi, and they are behind that name. We've discovered that a lot, right? So when the Hanbali, like Sheikh Nur is talking about, they don't mean Wahhabi, but unfortunately, many of the Wahhabis are using their stuff. Is that clear? Does everyone understand me? Listen, we can debate the issue once we understand each other. That's two different things. Like, we just want to go to debate. Do you understand what I'm talking about before you debate me? Once you understand what I'm talking about, and once I understand what you're talking about, then we can debate if that's necessary. But sometimes we just understand each other. We can disagree. It don't have to be a debate. I understand what you're saying. I just don't agree with you. Okay. That's my position. You don't have to agree. But if you want to know what I'm talking about, that's what I'm saying. Right? Do you follow my point? So that's why I told you, when the person who's a graduate of Yusuf in Medina, we asked him the same question. What's the difference from the Hanbalis and the Atharis and the Wahhabis and the Salafis? He said nothing. There's no difference. They're all the same. Now, Sheikh Nur wouldn't accept that, and nor would his teachers. So then they need to explain it. Y'all follow my point? All right. So I'm making all this clear, I hope, inshallah. Athari. Okay. So Athari is, in its meaning, the word, it is what the Hanbali is supposed to do. Meaning, Athari is one who follows the Athar, right? The narration, right? And they stick to the narration, right? That's what Athari literally means, right? Right? But now, what Athari has meant in our time often is Wahhabi, right? So if one says I'm Athari, meaning true Hanbali, then that's valid. No one's arguing with that. But when you got all this stuff mixed up, how do I know what you're talking about? And if, right? So that's what we're saying. That's it. That's it. It's not like complicated. Once you know what we're talking about, it's not complicated. Very easy, tell the truth. That's why I said I don't mind having a conversation, because it's not an argument. It's not even a debate. That's what you believe? We don't believe that. Now, if you don't believe, that's another story. That's it. Not deep. Right? Okay. Last few questions I'll take. So are you saying Wahhabi creed is un-Islamic? The Wahhabi creed, as was introduced by Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab and his beliefs, yes, it's un-Islamic. Even though they call it Islam, it's not valid. No. It's un-Islamic. Yes, I said it. I didn't hesitate. It's not valid to believe. We say that, and the Hanbalis say that too. The true Hanbalis. They say the same thing as the Ash'aris. That's not valid. To ascribe a law with locations and place and direction is not valid. It's not valid. No, it's not valid. All right. I'll take any. Where's the last one? Well, now you're getting into what Sheikh Noor was talking about. They were never strong. After all of the things that Madhab went through, they didn't, there always was efforts, but once you got the Saudi money and the establishment of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, lights out, right? For them. They're trying to revive. May Allah give them tawfiq. I mean, may Allah make them successful. But we still gotta do our work, regardless what the Hanabila are doing. May Allah make them successful. I hope they stand up and I hope they clean house. That would be great, right? But that's their job, not ours. And when I mean that, because we're not Hanabila, right? Not that we're not no, that's your specific issue. I can't take your issue. I don't believe like you believe in all your details. You got to explain that. Do you follow what I mean? That's like asking a Hanbali to teach the Ash'ari madhab. He couldn't do it as good as an Ash'ari. Even if he do it right, he's not an Ash'ari. Right? Okay, let's close it out. Take this last one. I- Is that why they say we don't know, referring to Allah, giving Allah physical attributes? How? Because they can't explain. To be honest, uh, we need to understand what the Wahhabis are saying first, right? And I think that's the injustice we have done. We spend too much time refuting instead of explaining. I think but we got that from somebody else, right? We spent too much time refuting and not explaining. Because if you explain some things, you don't even need to refute once a person understands. Because you have many Wahhabi people who are really not Wahhabi. That's all they heard. When you explain, they be like, I don't believe that. I know, but no one explained. But when you refute and they're defending something they don't even believe because it never was explained. It felt like an attack. So they're not listening. And let me respond to that. Arabi. Arabi Jabir, let me ask you a question. You can answer in the chat. Have you studied Islam for 10 years or more with a teacher? No, I'm asking you. I'm not being sarcastic. 10 years or more with a teacher. Have you studied? 10 years or more with a living teacher who taught you books from cover to cover. Have you studied like that? Where did you study? I'm not being sarcastic because you asked, can you come speak to me? I don't want to waste time. If you really know, I don't mind speaking to you. But if you don't know and you're still learning, you should just listen. And then once you learn, then we could talk. Where did you study? Sudan and Egypt. What madhab you follow? What madhab you follow? I'm asking you because I will let you on if I believe you have something of substance to say. So that's why I'm asking you the questions. Because I'll let you on right now and I'll take the time. My kids went back to sleep. Shafi, who are your teachers in Egypt and in Sudan? From whom did you learn Shafi fiqh? If you really learn, shoot. From whom did you learn? Who taught you Shafi fiqh? Because I'm going to let you on. I'm just, so we don't waste nobody's time because people get tired of that. But if we're going to have a real conversation, I'll let you on and I'll have it. Who are your teachers? From whom did you learn in Sudan and in Egypt? And if you don't want to do it publicly, inbox me and let's have a talk. Send me your phone number. We can talk. And then if you really had something to say, we could talk publicly. So I don't want you to think I'm trying to embarrass you because I'm not. But I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you either at the same time. Because this is us. We talking. Right? We just kicking it. Right. So don't get my facial expressions wrong. I'm mean, man. What y'all want? Okay. Maybe Arabi Jabir will, inshallah, just contact me. You just inbox me on Facebook, right? Khadija, stop. You know Ibn Uthaymin is a Wahhabi. Come on, stop. Um, my elder, I'm sorry. Yeah, so we're gonna have the conversation. And this is what I'm saying to y'all, right? Asking for your full over. Well, you're right. License and registration. All right, Sayyidi Arabi, send me a message, right? Inshallah. Are you African American? Last question. Because Muawiyah said I got to check your license and registration before I let you drive. Are you African American? Arabi? All right. I'm going to let you on real quick. Be respectful. I'm going to cut you if you start nonsense, right? Because you're black, so you know what I mean. All right. I'm going to share. We got 5 minutes. Now, don't hit me up right now. Go ahead. You can join in. Join in, Arabi, right now, so you can have your say. I want to be fair to you since I asked you all these questions. Copy that, put it in, and log in. When I see you, make sure you put your name, Arabi. I'll let you in. I want to show you how fair I am. I don't mind talking. But don't be too long, Arabi. You gotta be quick, because I have to go. For me, what I believe is when we have real talks and we know we are family and we just kicking it, we gonna benefit. I believe that. I honestly believe that. Right? We don't got nothing to hide. We ain't got. We don't have egos. We're just trying to make sure we get our religious stuff right. As one imam said, "Man, we just trying to go to paradise, brother. It ain't that deep." Uh, um, that's easy. How could you be wrong in Aqidah and right in fiqh? Easy. You learn fiqh and you didn't learn Aqidah. Simple. You learn fiqh properly, but you didn't learn Aqidah properly. Simple. We listen, man. People be ran game on us. We gonna have these problems. It's gonna take us a while to get this stuff right. All right, Arabi, I don't know what to tell you, Habibi. Uh, I gave you the link. If it doesn't work, inshallah, another time. This send me your number and we'll walk you through it. We can have a conversation. And if we need public, you feel it's worth it, I don't mind. Let's kick it. I'm your brother. It's all good. If you can send your number there, just put your name and number and I'll call you. Right? That easy. I'm not hard to find. I'm from the hood. I'm black for real. So don't worry, I ain't gonna duck wreck. Give me a call. All right, may Allah reward you all. Inshallah. I'll try to see y'all tonight if I can. And we'll finish this conversation, inshallah. Because it's important. And with all love, right? With all love. I mean that too. We need to learn to love each other, even when we differ. We have to love each other. It's important. We ain't gonna agree on everything. That's life. Right? Barakallahu bikum. Inshallah ta'ala. All right. Barakallahu bikum. Inshallah, we'll see you. I'm gonna try to catch up with y'all tonight, round 6 or 7 after Maghrib, inshallah. I'll try and I'll be more free and I can have a real conversation. Barakallahu bikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.